Hey guys, this is Cam15 back out with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another One Piece manga chapter review for you guys. As the manga, it is has returned from its month-long break, and it is now back. And man, what a crazy chapter to come back to because holy hell, this was something crazy. This was a crazy chapter. Now, I don't know if I'm going to review next week's chapter because I want to give myself some leniency, but man, what a chapter. So, let's get into the chapter. So, this is chapter 1054 titled Flame Emperor. Now, we have it to where the Fire Festival is going on, and we see where Admiral Green Bull is walking up to the Flower Capital, and he pretty much goes on to say the thing about influence is when you really want it, it can be hard to gain. And he pretty much is confronted by Raizo, Shinobu, Kawamatsu, Kawamatsu, Inororashi, and Nekomamushi, and Denjiro. And he pretty much tells them you need to move out the way right now because you don't know what's good for you, and stuff like that. And now they all know that this dude's from the Navy and that they're enemies of Luffy and stuff like that. And they're pretty much telling him, listen, you need to go home, back away. You're not supposed to be here, because this is Wano ground. You're not supposed to be here. But Green Bull, he pretty much replies and it says, so you know how things work outside of here. The celestial dragons are the gods of the world, and here in this country, unaffiliated with the world government, you have no human rights. Don't blame me for it. It's how the world works. So, yes, Admiral Green Bull is he's a simp for the world government. He is totally bought into the propaganda that is the world government. Almost like how, I don't know, these people who pretty much worshipped the former president of this country like a god are, well, and he spread his propaganda. But oh, it's okay, listen, whatever. We're not trying to hear you to get political here. I'm just pointing that out. And if you are a supporter, hey, more power to you. That's how I feel about you. Regardless, moving on. We get a full panel spread where this dude just absolutely sticks his hands in the ground and he creates this forest, just with crazy attacks. Now he goes on to say he's a woodsman and he's got the power of the woods fruit. That's the official confirmation of the name. I forgot. I know I read the unofficial translations. They translated something different than the wood fruit. But this is what I guess this is what Viz is calling the official name of the thing. But in the unofficials, they called it the forest fruit, I believe, or something like that. Regardless, it's the same thing. I don't know why forest fruit. I don't know why this guy called. I guess he says he's a wood. He's a wood because he later transformed into a woodman and stuff like that. So yeah. Now he goes on to say the forest is just as much the cradle of life as the sea. Now he goes on to actually make a mention that his devil fruit is actually a Logia. So other than Fujitora, pretty much all the admirals to this point in the story have had Logia fruits. Aokiji, Sakazuki, and forgot this guy, Kizaru. They've all had Logia fruits. Now you can add Green Bull to the fact that he has a Logia. The only other person that didn't have a Logia is Fujitora. He has a Paramecia, I believe, and stuff like that. So yes. Now he goes on to say, let me teach you something. Humankind has lasted through the ages by creating and defining the inferior. All the rest of us can look down at our noses at you unaffiliated countries. Discrimination creates solace. So listen, this guy pretty much is bought into this propaganda saying that the world doesn't need to change. What the order is in the world is there. You need to follow it and you abide by it. In countries like you who aren't affiliated with the world government. Well, guess what? You need to freaking get with the times and be with the world government. Otherwise, we'll just end up, I guess in a way, he's kind of also saying like, we'll just end up taking you guys over and you'll just end up being forcefully affiliated with the world government and stuff like that. So yeah, now he goes on to make the mention like he doesn't care how many people there is because there is no law that applies. And pretty much he says, listen, you can try to stop me, but you can't kill me. And in the meantime, he's like turned into like pretty much a tree, a wood tree and stuff like that. And pretty much he goes and make the mention, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to freaking reach Monkey D. Luffy and capture him and stuff like that. So yeah. Now Yamato actually shows up in GC and she pretty much comes out of nowhere and she goes and says, GC, you won't be doing that. And stuff like that. Now Green Bull does make a mention of the fact like Yamato's got some really good hockey and stuff like that. And yeah, now Yamato pretty much goes on explaining, listen, you're not going to ruin this opportunity for the people of Wano who went 20 years of oppression, freaking slavery pretty much. And I'm not going to let you ruin the one chance of true happiness that they can get just because, you want to come in here and take Luffy away and stuff like that, and you're just coming in here barging in. And pretty much Green Bull asks like, who are you? And Yamato says, I'm Yamato, the son of Kaido. And Green Bull's like, son of Kaido, what the hell? And stuff like that. Now we have it to where Momonosuke in his dragon form shows up and he looks like he's about to use a blast breath, but he doesn't end up doing it. It's, man, when the scene gets animated into the anime, it's gonna be hilarious because it's gonna be like blast breath, and he's like, that's what he pretty much does. But more of the fact that now Green Bull knows that Yamato is Kaido's son. If he has to be forcefully has to retreat, well then it's going to be very interesting because that means he's going to tell the world government, yeah, in Wano, apparently, there was this girl that calls herself Yamato, Kaido's son, but apparently Kaido has an offspring, and this is a problem now. So you can expect Yamato will be getting a bounty soon, but like I said, I expect her to be joining the Straw Hats. So she's going to get a bounty regardless. We knew it was going to eventually happen, so yeah, and stuff like that. Now, Green Bull's actually shocked that he sees Momonosuke, mostly because it was a dragon and stuff like that. Now, Momonosuke, since the attack didn't work, Momonosuke just charges on and tries to pretty much bite Green Bull, but Green Bull pretty much is like, well, I never expected that, but whatever, you're too weak. So he wraps Momonosuke all together and stuff like that. And Yamato is looking like, she's gearing up to do another attack to help Momonosuke, but Momonosuke surprisingly tells Yamato to stay back, do not fight right now, and she's shocked. So that's when we cut over to near the outskirts of Wano, pretty much in the seas of Wano, and we see Shanks's crew for the first time in a very, very long time. And they are literally outside Wano, and they're looking like they're about to go meet Luffy. They made up their decision that they want to go meet Luffy because, well, they said he's an emperor now, and they want to see how he's been doing and stuff like that. And man, trust me, if they were to show up, they would have. I know for a fact they definitely would have got Admiral Green Bull up out of there. They definitely would have beat Green Bull and stuff like that. So pretty much everybody's like, we were here to see Luffy. It's funny because we actually see Yasopp, and he's like, whoa, wait, hold on a second. I don't think I'm ready to meet my son Usopp, yo. Which is freaking hilarious and stuff like that. So yeah. And they also make a mention of the fact that Bartolomeo actually, I guess, attacked one of their islands or something like that, and he put up Luffy's flag, and pretty much Shanks pretty much kind of says like he's not gonna let that slide, and they're not gonna meet up with Luffy this time, because they gotta go take care of the issue that Bartolomeo took care of. So yeah, but even before we actually get Shanks looking at the wanted poster of Luffy, and obviously his new wanted poster is him in his Gear 5th form, and we get a flashback to when Shanks pretty much took the gum fruit from the Navy and stuff like that, and we see who's who actually there. He's not wearing a mask, but we still see his horns and everything, and he's now who's wondering like, wait, why is the Shanks why are Shanks pirates here, pirate crew here, like, and why are they attacking us? Like, all we got is a measly devil fruit. Now, I don't know why the world government didn't inform this clown that no, this is a very important devil fruit that needs to get back to our hands. I don't know why, but they were just like, they didn't tell this guy. So yeah, and we just get the flashbacks to everything that's pretty much happened and stuff like that. So yeah, but that's the thing, you know, they pretty much go on to say, like, listen, we have to deal with Bartolomeo. And even Shanks, like, I'm not interested in seeing Luffy at this moment right now and stuff like that. You know, they go on to make the mention that, you know, Bartolomeo, like I said, burned down their flags or took their flags down in their, like, one of their region areas and stuff for them to go take care of that situation and stuff like that. And they'll meet up with Luffy at some later point in time or something like that. Now, he goes on to talk to, Beckman, and he goes on to pretty much pour this cup of sake in this little cup, and he goes on to say, hey dude, I think it's time we make our move for the One Piece. I'm like, I heard that news, I was like, oh shit, okay. So again, if there is any further evidence to prove that this is the final saga, the final, whatever you want to call this, final portion of this One Piece story, yeah, when you got freaking Shanks now saying, I think it's time we need to go out and look for the One Piece, it goes to show you that no, we're in the end game of One Piece now. Now you got freaking Shanks going after the One Piece. I guarantee you Blackbeard's probably going to go after the One Piece as well himself, because guess what, now that he's heard the same exact news too. He's probably Legs, I actually did it, I'm actually shocked. Oh, what's this? He looks different, interesting, but it doesn't matter. So it's gonna be very freaking interesting. That's the next reaction I want to see. I want to see, we're gonna cut over to Blackbeard and see his reaction to this situation, because I want to see his reaction. He probably ain't gonna be, I think he's gonna be shocked that Big Mom and Kaido went down, but I don't think he's gonna be like, Straw Hat's gonna be no problem. But I definitely see this is where freaking Blackbeard, he's gonna now make his moves now, because he's gonna be like, oh, 2 emperors got taken down, Straw Hat just did that for me. He did my bidding. It makes my life a lot more easier. So I can't wait till when we come over to Blackbeard to see what he's doing, because I think there's also going to be more of a focus on him as well and stuff like that. Anyways, we get to the Navy HQ in the New World, and pretty much we get the aftermath of the events of what happened from the Reverie in terms of the Revolutionary Army. Now a statement goes on to say that we can't let the revolutionaries keep running unchecked, Akainu. And Akainu kind of replies, I know that, but we don't have the troops to go send after them and stuff like that. And they go on to make the mention that they're calling him the Flame Emperor Sabo now. He's the hero of the entire world. And 800 years ago, the world government was created by 20 founders. Of the descendants, only Nefertari Cobra attended the Reverie this year. Which is why his murder was so meaningful to the Revolutionary Army. And we get this panel that says, Sabo killed Cobra. I'll explain my thoughts at the end of the chapter, and stuff like that. So, okay. I'll explain my thoughts about that stuff at the end of the chapter. All right. Now, this continued statement goes on to say, just hours before that, in the land of the gods, the living area of the celestial dragons, they destroyed the hoof of the celestial dragons, which symbol of the world nobles, which pretty much that just goes to show you that the Revolutionary Army declared war on the world government. Now we find out that Admiral Fujitora, now we knew Fujitora was there and he was participating in the fight, but we actually didn't know that Green Bull was there. Green Bull was in the battle. Now, apparently, what happened is the Revolutionary Army ended up getting away, and they actually got Kuma back. So that's good for the Revolutionary Army and stuff like that. Now, I think it's this new character that's talking right now, and he goes to make the mention, like, I think it was difficult for the admirals because they couldn't use their full power because they were in the land of the celestial dragons and stuff like that. But Akainu's like, dude, shut the fuck up. I don't give a fuck. Do not make excuses for them. They didn't get the damn job done. Then we get another shocker of the chapter. We find out that apparently Vivi has disappeared, and it happened at the same time as Cobra's murder. I'll again discuss that at the end of the chapter and get my thoughts on that. Again, the new character who's talking is the director of the Naval Bureau of Investigation, and his name is Kuroma. Now, he goes on to say that they're still investigating the matter of this kidnapping and stuff like that. But the fact that this is a blow for Alabasta, because pretty much their ship has not left the Reverie yet. They haven't left Marijois or something like that. Are pretty much the way to Marijois, and pretty much right now Alabasta is more than likely going to be in a panic because they're getting the same news of the fact that their king is dead and their princess is disappeared. She's just been kidnapped or disappeared or something. So it's very freaking interesting to see what's going on there. Now, Kizaru goes on to say, can we assume the attempted murder of Saint Charles is solved then? And Akainu and he goes on to say, as far as the accusation that Saint Misgard let the attacker escape, that being deliberated in the land of the gods, the Holy Knights have then intervened. So we get a whole new, I guess, group called the Holy Knights, which I'm guessing might be the police force for the Celestial Dragons. I don't know. Pretty much Kizaru says all of this is just one gigantic mess and stuff like that. So yeah, now then Kuroma goes on to make a mention, but in each case the public is convinced that Sabo was the one pulling the strings, and it's causing quite a stir as to the recent events orchestrated during the king's return, with the 8-nation revolution, and now the many sparks of the rebellion smoldering all over the world. And pretty much we see how these nations that are pretty much kind of against the world government, against these original 20 families, they're celebrating Sabo for doing something that, well, guess what? I guess you can say there are countries wouldn't dare do, but this is just like making the world and these revolutions who are against the world government, these countries who are against the world government and the things that they stand by, they're like, wait, we can actually fight for a cause now. That's what I'm pretty much getting out of here and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's the thing. And they go on to say they're beginning to worship Sabo like he's some sort of god, and they're calling him the Flame Emperor and everything. And they go on to make the mention at this point in time, he's so popular that he might have even more influence than Dragon's commander, than Dragon, who's the commander-in-chief of the Revolutionary Army. Now, Kizaru goes on to make the mention, he's like, well, yes, even though that's an issue, don't forget about this. Monkey D. Luffy, he's an Emperor of the Sea now. We have to deal with that as well. Plus, he's the Flame Emperor's brother. And they have upended the old ways and normals. And pretty much we have this guy pretty much screaming out with this microphone saying, and this is at the one scene that they're cheering Sabo. And pretty much, this guy's saying, the times are now changing pretty much. The changes to this world are indeed happening. We already knew this. We knew whatever came out of the repercussion of the Big Mom and Kaido fight between the Supernovas are mostly just Luffy and company. Pretty much whoever wins, which we already knew Luffy was going to win, the times are going to change. The old, and we're seeing it now. We a little bit of it kicked off at Marineford after the Marineford arc, but truly, this is the time now when the world is changing. Things are being set in stone for the next generation to then take over for the old guard and everything. And you have it to where Akainu ends the chapter off by saying, well, this is one hell of an age I decided to be Fleet Admiral. But it doesn't matter. They want to attack us, then we'll just fire straight back at each and every one of them. And stuff like that. So that's pretty much what he says. There is no break next week, so we're getting a chapter next week. Again, I don't know if I'm going to review next week's chapter. I told myself I don't want to freaking review the One Piece manga every single damn week. And stuff like that, unless something crazily shocking happens. And listen, since we're in the end game of One Piece, pretty much every damn chapter is going to be crazily shocking. So I'm going to just do maybe every other week or something like that. I'll do a review of the One Piece chapter and stuff like that. But before I get out of here, I want to get my thoughts on Vivi and Cobra. Okay. They said Sabo killed Cobra. Now, we don't know if this is the case. Now, we know the freaking world government was very suspicious of Cobra in terms of him asking all these questions about what's this true history about, the world government and everything. So my opinion is this: if Cobra was around the area of the fight, maybe Sabo accidentally hit him. I don't know. But what I'm more than likely guessing, especially this goes to cater in the Vivi situation as well, is I think maybe the world government, the elders or Eam, they ended up telling some of the world government members or CP0, listen, that guy Nefertari Cobra, he's asking too many damn questions. You have full authority to cut the cord on this guy. Which, if we find out that, the world government killed Cobra, I would not be shocked by that. I think it would make it absolutely plausible for them to kill Cobra, unless we get another shock of the chapter saying that no, Sabo actually really did kill Cobra. As for Vivi, I don't know. One or two things is she could be at. She has either been captured by the world government as well to keep her mouth shut, because if anything, maybe she was there when her father got assassinated or murdered. And if it was by the world government would clearly want to capture Vivi. Would clearly want to capture Vivi and pretty much keep her locked under key and say, you will not be able to see nothing, because I know if you were to go back, you would say the world government killed my father. And stuff like that. So that's the case. We also saw how in the one chapter back in the Reverie arc, we saw that Eam, the guy who was sitting on the chair, pretty much, he had the wanted posters not only for Luffy, but he had a picture of Vivi. So he could have also maybe Vivi's with Eam. We don't know. That's why I say she probably maybe got captured by the world government, unless unless the Revolutionary Army and Sabo ended up saving Vivi, and she's with the Revolutionary Army and stuff like that. And maybe, she saw everything that happened with her father getting murdered, potentially by the world government. We don't know. Maybe, she saw Sabo, or maybe, and you remember, she also tried to resist the CP0 back when the one freaking Celestial Dragon tried to get Shirahoshi and tried to have Shirahoshi as a slave, pretty much. And stuff like that. So that's another thing that leads me to believe that they could have, maybe the world government potentially could have captured Vivi, but more than likely for Eam's sake. But we don't know where these characters are. The only build up will just continue to happen, and I just hope that Vivi does not die. But man, if Vivi does die, I'm gonna be freaking so mad. I love Vivi so much. But this was a really great chapter. This chapter again nullifies the point that the end game is here. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next, and man, this story is going to be crack-a-lackin'. Anyways, guys, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's manga chapter for One Piece, as well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more One Piece content, whether it's the manga or the anime, as well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more anime content that I upload to the channel. Till then, guys, stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day. Till then, guys, peace.